Flosstube friends, it's Mary, the Daydream Stitcher on YouTube and Instagram. This is my channel all about my across stitch obsession. Today I'm excited to share with you my New Year 2022 WIP parade. I like to do, for me it works best to do it at the beginning of the year and then midway through the year. So I was last here showing my finishes from last year, so now I'd like to show you the WIPs that I am carrying into the new year. So if you're new here, I hope that you enjoy what you see and that you consider hitting the subscribe button and leaving me a comment. If you're not new here and you've been with me for a while, well, I hope that you don't like what you see here. No, just kidding. I hope you still enjoy and that you will enough to keep coming back. So thank you all of you that do leave comments and subscribe. It means the world. Today my boys are away at different places and my daughter is making slime, and I thought, great, instead of cleaning up the house, I'm gonna mess it up more by doing a WIP parade, because what sounds better than that? So I'm gonna get right into it, and then I have some rambling that I wanted to do about my life, and I will save that for the end. So let's get right into it. My new start since my last video was, I only have one new start in the last week. Can you believe it? This is my New Year New Start 2022 that I am stitching with Wayward Stitcher, Cat Talks, Calico Whimsy. I think Amy Loves Toads and a couple of other people are also stitching this. I heard about it from my friend Ashley at Wayward Stitcher, and I love copying whatever she's doing. Sorry Ashley, but I do tend to do that, so I'm like, I'm in. So I had the kit already in my stash, so I pulled it out, and this is where I've gotten on it. Here's the completed picture. I'm going to pop in up there so you can see what it looks like. I've gotten about 500 stitches. I'm really bad at counting stitches. I do not do well with counting stitches. I do okay with counting hours, but even that is a little hard for me because I'm up and down a lot. But yeah, I'm doing a couple of challenges on Facebook. I joined a couple groups again for challenges, and so I'm counting stitches for that. So that's how I know that I did 500 in there. That was for a winter themed project, because as we all know, January is in the winter here, and then it's the summer in the southern hemisphere. Okay, now for the WIP parade, and this is a Riola's kit if I didn't say. Now I'm going to pull out, I just threw my WIPs over here, and as usual I probably am missing some, so I just literally dumped out project bags and all the good stuff, and my bed is like a mountain of mess right now, so that's going to be fun. But I'm going to start, so I'm just going to pull and we'll go through it together and look and see what's there, because I'm not even sure myself. Some of it might surprise me as well. So I'm participating in WIP Go 2022, which is run by Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on YouTube, and she's also on Instagram and Facebook. If you're interested in that and you're not familiar with WIP Go, go onto her channel, and I'll link it below and you can go check out. She has a lot of great information. I know a lot of my friends are participating this year, which is super fun. Basically, you use like a bingo board that you fill out, and you decide, you know, she calls the numbers, and then you decide on your goals, and then you work on those things for that month as your focus piece. And you can work on it the rest of the year as well, but you gotta wait till the number's called to start that year. So my goal for this month in January, the numbers came up 2 and 19. So for 2, I have Mary Needleworker. And this is where I am. This piece was my New Year New Start for 2021. So this right here is one skein. This is a week's dye work called Seafoam. I hope I have that right off the top of my head. This is one skein here. So hopefully I have enough skeins. I got the required amount. I can't remember how many it called for, but this didn't go as far as I was hoping, the blue-green there. So we'll see. This is a skirt. Well, I'll put the picture in up here, but you can see how much blue-green is in that. It's a lot of filling in. So I did get that much done. This is done on the called for fabric, which is 32 count Bramble by Picture This Plus. It's a linen, Belfast linen, with the called for threads, which is Weeks Dye Works. Mary Needleworker. I'm telling y'all, she did that one for me. She was thinking of me, one of her first Flosstube loves. No, just kidding. Just kidding, kind of. The next one was number 19, and that was my Victorian home from Artisy. This is originally from artwork done by Dominic Davison, who I love all of his artwork. This is an old WIP. This was started in 2015. In fact, way back on my first Flosstube, this was my main focus piece, I think, at that time. And it's wet because she had a bath just before this. She's been in a Omnic frame and just sitting around getting dusty cat hair. So she looks a little disheveled right now, but and dark because she's wet. So she's darker than usual, but here's where I am. I got quite a bit. She was called for last January on my WIP Go board last year. And I got almost, I had a page finish down for her. So I got down, don't you love how I'm calling it her? Why am I calling it her? It's an it, isn't it? I don't know. Do we think of our WIPs as, I don't know, they, whatever. I'm weird. Oh, aren't we all? So anywho, this is the top of the corner there. So I managed to get up to that, and I was trying to fill all this in. And there are some miscounts there, and so that was throwing me off. I was trying to work around that, which really doesn't matter, I don't think, because it's tree. So who's gonna know if I get some things off with those? Yeah, I love this piece. It's a really big piece. This is probably, let me see if I can open this up. This portion of it is, well, you can see on the picture that I'm not even a fourth done because I'm putting in the regular picture, so. That should have been done long ago. Anyway, my goals for all of my WIP Go things are to work, now I can't remember. I think it's to work 15 hours in the month on it. And I haven't worked on either one this month yet. So I gotta get hop to and get to it. So that will definitely be something I will work on today, hopefully, once I get this all done and uploaded. So now we just pull WIPs and see what comes up and what I remember about them. I'm trying to keep better notes. All of this stuff usually just comes from what I can remember, which isn't always a great thing. I got planes, trains, and automobiles going by, and I live out in the country. Progress, I guess. Okay, here is my Disney Dream, one of my Disney Dream WIPs. This is Snow White Discovers the Cottage. And I have very mixed feelings about this one. Anyone who's ever attempted to do a Disney Dreams kit knows that they're beautiful when finished, but they are rife with problems, and they are extremely frustrating because a lot of times things don't match. The fabric's often not big enough, which has been my personal experience with every kit that I've tried. I have a couple of kits that are not open yet, and I seriously consider selling them because they're worth a lot, and I don't know if I'm ever going to stitch them. And my fingers are crossed that a well-respected designer will be able to get the rights to those pictures because they're so beautiful, and you know, it would be great to stitch them up, but I'm just not sure that those MCG Textiles ones are the right way to go. I mean, they went under a few years ago because they were just there was no quality control. I can say that, I think, now. I mean, I think I could be honest about that now. I know some of you have lucked out and have no problems, but I'm guessing the majority of you have. And I've always tried to be careful about what I said about those kits, but the company's no longer around, I think, because of that. I just think because they just, and their customer service was not good in my experience, you know, so. Anyway, on to other things. I honestly don't know if that Snow White is ever going to get finished because I think, again, that I've run out of fabric on her. Like, I'm supposed to be in the middle and I'm well past the middle of the fabric, and I don't know. I don't know if that's going to ever be a finish. That may just be a UFO, an unfinished object. I was going to say it means unidentified flying object. Yeah, you think? Yeah, really. Way to go with the cross-stitch acronyms, Mary. You can tell I'm so with it, right? Okay, as usual. And I'm holding this upside down. Oh dear. Okay, here is Halloween Night. This is by Imaginating. And this is stitched with the Call for DMC on 32 count Jobelin from Be Stitch Me in a color called Gold Rush. This was supposed to be a finish last year on my WIP Go. That obviously didn't happen, but it's not far. Since I last showed it, I think I've worked on the cloud up here and gotten a lot more of that gray filled in. I got the bat finished, or all bats finished. This one ended up in the middle. Is it the middle one? Yeah. The middle one ended up being a lot bigger than he was supposed to be, but I left it. I wasn't gonna pull him out. I figured it's gonna work. They're not all the same size, are they? Like typically, I wouldn't think they're all exactly the same. Okay, this next one was one of my birthday starts, and I'm legit not even sure which way it goes. I can't remember. I'm going with this. I think you can see how crumpled up this poor thing is. Here's the finished picture. I don't know if you can see it, but I have all this dog hair flying around right now. Really annoying. This is the finished picture up here, and here's where I am. See, now I'm trying to hold it to the side, but I don't know if it's focusing, if my face is in it. So I'm going to cover me up. This is a Luca S kit, I think. Again, this is all off the top of my head. I think it's Luca S. If not, I'll change it in the text. Something about Paris, but I really, flower market in Paris or something like that. I really like it. Paris in Bloom, that's the official name. Love it, love it, love it. And it's a picture that I have often admired, and I was ecstatic when I saw that there was a kit out. And I feel like there's now like a Design Works maybe with the same picture. I mean, that they put out a kit as well. But that's on the Call for fabric, which is a 16 count, I think, with included flosses. Jumping back to Halloween, here is my Glendon Place Sleepy Hollow. This is stitched on a 32 count linen from Picture This Plus called Alchemy, which is a little bit lighter, I think, than the called for, but it works. So I started this with Crisscross Stitch and Crafty Old Man UK, which Steve, Crafty Old Man UK, has long, I believe, finished. I'm sure he's finished. I have to go check Instagram now, but he's got to be finished. He's always finished like right away. But I love that. I look forward to pulling this one out again. I mean, I love them all. Why do I say that? Like, it's just a given. I still love almost all of my WIPs, except for my Snow White. Ooh, a floss. Okay. Here is my giant Harry Potter. I think I can get back far enough to show. I did very little on this one last time. My goal was to finish parts 1 and 2, and I didn't. So this is stitched on Legacy by Picture This Plus in 32 count Lugana with the mostly the called for DMC. I did swap some. I'm changing the Ravenclaw banner colors from blue and silver to blue and bronze. And I will be changing the Slytherin colors as well to green and silver. I think they had like green and red on there. Green and something that didn't quite. And the Ravenclaw, for the book purists, in the book it's blue and bronze for Ravenclaw. And I think the movie colors are blue and black, I think. Which makes sense too. I mean, I like that too, but yeah, I just thought I would change them on there. All right, it looks like the next WIP that I have would be my Ladybird Fairy. This is a Joan Elliott piece that I'm stitching on. What am I stitching this on? Beach Bound from Hand Dyed Happiness, 32 count Lugana. Not sure if she's still dying or not. I don't think the shop is still up, as far as I know. My friend Ashley Wayward Stitcher just recently said, if I can stick a project on blue fabric, you bet your ass I'm gonna do it. I feel the same exact way, because I love blue too, and blues and grays, and any excuse. So my Ladybird Fairy, I pictured a spring sky, and that's what I thought it had to be on for me. This was a new start. This I was gonna say this year, this past year. It was for Black Sampler November. It was going around, and I started this on Thanksgiving. And it's long dog samplers, do different in DMC 310 on a 25 count Lugana 1/1. It's my little Christmas owl. This is a Doreen Jones. See if I could get it to focus. This is a Doreen Jones pattern. Am I showing off the other stuff? I don't even know. It comes in a set of 4, and this is the first one. It's still not done. Surprise, surprise. So on a 32 count Lugana 2/1 with the called for DMC. If you have been following me the last couple months, you will have seen this one quite a bit. This is my nativity that has been around for a very long time. It's still not finished. It will be finished this year. I don't care what happens, it's being finished. So there's where I am. My wise man does have some updates from the time I last showed him. I got the more purple filled in, and I started filling in the metallics with the golds and the reds. So he's getting there. Next up is Stargazer by Mirabilia. Garan Toten Bags is doing a pattern designer, a specific designer each month. I think it's through his group. I don't know if it's somebody else's that they're doing also, or if they came up with it. I think they came up with it, but I'm not positive. But this month is Mirabilia or Nora Corbett, and so I'm going to pull her out for that as well. I don't have any updates on her since I last showed her on one of my videos, but here she is for my parade. This is on a 32 count Lugana by Under the Sea Fabrics called Whimsical Winter, which is beautiful blues and grays. Here is my Dimensions snowman with floss just stuck to him. This is a Dimensions kit. It's done on 18 count Aida. It's a 6x6, and I just absolutely love the shading on this thing. I think it's so adorable and so cool how they do the shading. Here's my Fruits of Plenty sale. I just barely got started on February a couple weeks ago. And January is more or less done, I think. I'm calling it done. There's probably a few stitches at the bottom there that need to be finished, but for the most part, January's done, with February coming in. It was the 2021 stitch along from Modern Folk Embroidery, and so I will be stitching it in 2022 with several people, including Chris Cross Stitch and Kathy at To Dye House. This is a sampler from Monticello Stitches here on YouTube and Instagram. I just adore her, and this one I really liked. It's called A Gentle Needle Soothes the Anxious Heart. This is done on a 28 count even weave, I think is what it said, from MCG Textiles, and it's a very old style linen. And when I say linen, I don't mean the type of linen that we cross stitchers buy these days, but it's what I would have stitched embroidery on when my grandmother taught me when I was a kiddo. It was a very thick, I don't even know if it's technically linen, because this is called an even weave, but it's very thick, and it's more like a, I don't know my fabric, so I couldn't really compare it to something. I know what I'm thinking of, but I don't know what it's called. But I think it gives it more of a vintagey look, so I think that was the perfect thing. I had originally bought it years ago at Joann's to get to put a dragon on, and I didn't end up using that. I ended up using something else. So I think that was the perfect thing. Here's Death by Cross Stitch. I did get some more in since I last showed it up here. I started on the unicorn. And this is done on a 25 count 1/1 with Silks for You. in PR124, which is like a black and purple and teal variegated floss, which is really beautiful. I really love it. Oh, this is huge. Huge, huge. This is the biggest, not only my biggest WIP, my biggest project I think ever that I've actually started. I have a number of them pattern-wise, but that I've actually started. I don't even know how to hold this thing up at this point. This is what I have. This is my start. This is Reading by the Window. I started this with Stitchy Lemon, Nicole in Germany, and there's my start. I'm doing it in 10 stitch, so I don't know how well it's showing up yet. This is starting from the middle. So I have some of the ocean out the window and some of the plant coming in there. 10 stitch is a lot harder than I thought, y'all. I didn't realize. I've never done it before. I mean, I've done the half stitches. Actually, the Blue Jays that I'm doing from Riola's, I meant to mention that it's the floss is a wool, acrylic wool, and I really like it. And so a lot of the half stitches in the background remind me a little bit of needlepoint, and so that's kind of like sort of like 10 stitch, right? So I really like that, but when I'm doing a full coverage piece, trying to figure out like where things go that I would normally do cross stitch, for some reason it's really challenging for me. Like if I'm doing a dimensions piece or whatever that has half stitches, that's not hard for me. I don't know why that is. It's not like the symbols are, you know, different, but anyway, 10 stitch is tough on a big thing like that for me. That's a 1/1. 1/2, yeah. Halloween Quaker, that's all I have. I don't think I have that much more to show since I last had it on my video. This is on a 40 count linen from Picture This Plus called Pewter. And I started this with Michelle Bendy Stitchy last spring. Was it May maybe? When she had these huge Zoom groups that were stitching that one together. You had to be stitching on that. So I got it kitted up and I started it for that reason. And I was like doing it, and like I joined 2 of the sessions, which was like the only time that I've ever joined a live Zoom session for stitching. And I was so intimidated because Bendy Stitchy was there and Gary was there, and who else? There were a couple other people that like I watch on Flosstube, and then a ton of other people. And it was like crazy ton of people. Like I don't even know how many people there were. I didn't even know you could have that many people in a Zoom meeting, but I guess you can. So there was always somebody talking, and I'm happy to stay quiet, but it was kind of like, oh, are they gonna call on me? Because she was going around to like have everybody introduce themselves. And after like 2 hours, we were still going around and introducing ourselves, and then I had to go because my kids needed me to make dinner. So I didn't introduce myself, which is fine. And then I joined another time too, and it was just like, it was a lot going on. It was awesome, but it was like, yeah, I didn't go anymore after that. But they're done. I'm sure most of them are done with Halloween Quaker by now. Here's my Japanese garden. It's so pretty, but it's still at a standstill because I'm missing one of the pages. Well, really 2 of the pages. Half the chart I'm missing. I have this half over here, I think it is, on the right side. And I can't find this half. Last time I saw it, I was sitting on my bed to stitch it, and I don't know what happened to it. Here is Green Courtyard in the Shire is the official name of this. This is from Patterns by Maria. Cute Patterns by Maria, pardon me, they are cute. There's the picture up above, and there's where I am. I got in 250 stitches. Was it 250? Yeah. 250 stitches yesterday because, not yesterday, the day before. January 3rd was J.R. Tolkien's birthday, or would have been. So I did that in honor of him because I love that piece and I want to get that finished this year also. And one of my challenge groups had that in it, so, you know, that's good. And that is on a 16 count Ada parchment, called parchment, and it's the called for DMC. Here is Dolphin Domain by Dimensions that I started a few weeks ago with my friend Ashley Wayward Stitcher for the stitches for winter sal that she's doing for the dolphin that passed away recently, named Winter. But I don't even know, again, which way's up. I'm not sure that's the right way, but I'm going with it. I'm not going to worry about it right now. But I need to put some stitches in that this week. Here's Historical Women. Historical Women is from Good Morning Maui on Etsy. I don't think I'm any further from the last time I showed this. This is on Icicle from Under the Sea Fabrics in an opalescent Lugana. My daughter chose that fabric for this pattern, you know, out of my stash. So I have Cleopatra, Empress Wu, Lady Godiva, Joan of Arc, Marie Antoinette, who's not quite finished, and that's the start of Susan B. Anthony, and there's 16 women in total. So if I could get, I have 4 completed, 4.5 completed. So if I could just stitch 1 a month, that might be a good goal, something that I could get done. I didn't put that as a goal, I just put 15 hours on it. So here's my minstrel from Teresa Wentzler. I don't know why I don't pick this up more often because it's just stunning. I love it so much. I gotta get that. That's the great thing about WIP parades is you go through and you see these things like, why have I not worked on this? Like, why has this been languishing, you know, tucked away in a box somewhere, in a bag somewhere? Like, no, I need to get it out. It's so pretty. I want to see it. I want to work on it. Kitten with Ribbon. This is Custom Crafts. Stitched on a 32 count, no, 18 count Lugana with Call It For DMC. It's fun seeing the kitten come into view. Hopefully it's focusing. I think I have to remember to hold these things up in front of me because my camera doesn't seem to know what to do when I go beside me, from what I can tell. Here's my start on the lecture. Not much more than I had before. I got frustrated with it because I was trying to read it on my phone, not on Pattern Keeper because it didn't load the colors in right, and I just got lazy with it and I didn't, you know, you can do that yourself on Pattern Keeper. So I was looking at a PDF, the digital download of it, and it just got frustrating. So I either need to like just make it work in Pattern Keeper by putting in the floss myself, or I need to print it out and work on it. And this is on Helix by Picture This Plus in a 32 count linen. This is my Heaven and Earth treasure hunt bookshelf. I worked on this one quite a bit last year. I filled in more of this shelf down here primarily, worked on getting these books added and working up over here. It's kind of getting her more defined and adding that in. So this is stitched on a 25 count Magic, is it Magic Guide? One of those pre-gridded ones that I purchased years ago from so-and-so in the UK, which is now no longer with us. And those are all the Called For DMC. No changes on a Heaven and Earth for me, that's for sure. This is my Dimensions A Treasured Time, which again is no further along than the last time I showed it, but I now have the color chart back. I had lost the colors symbol key, and my dear friend Amanda at Lucky Chance Stitcher, who's now again on Flosstube, you gotta go see her parades, she's amazing. She was kind enough to send me a copy of the symbol key because I lost that, but I have the chart, so I didn't lose those yet, so I'll have to get back to that. And I worked on Cat Eviction Notice. This is part of a 3-part set from Lindy Stitches. Cats Love Christmas, I think, is the name of the pattern. It's 3 ornaments. I finished this one last year, and then I worked this year a little bit on Cat Eviction Notice. This kitty cat is not stitched right. He's supposed to be wider. His eyes are supposed to be further apart. But I didn't realize until after I got down there that I didn't have the hat big enough. Like, I stitched the hat first, and then when I went to stitch the cat, I was like, oh. So I probably could have, like, you know, made his head bigger and the hat just stay small. But at that point I just left it. So he's just like one of those cats that have like the narrow, beady little eyes. So I really love that one, and I'm gonna put some more stitches into that today. So I think that's it for my WIPs. I didn't count them. I guess I should count them. Maybe when I edit this video, I'll count them. I had a couple of shout outs that I wanted to do. One was Amanda at Lucky Chance, which I just mentioned. She's back on Flosstube again. You've got to go check her out. She's shooting up in subscribers. I'm so happy for her because she has beautiful stitching and just such a calm, soft, lovely voice, and I think that you will all enjoy her immensely. We stitch a lot of the same types of things and have similar preferences. I wanted to say hi to Sue at Nana Sue Stitches. Guys, she has a Flosstube channel, and I highly recommend you go check her out. I'm sure she would appreciate your support. She's local to me. She lives probably 30 minutes from me, so we've got to get together. And I know I've mentioned her before, but I really have a lot of love for her. She's been going through some health issues and been in and out of the hospital, so I just wanted to send my love and good wishes to her for healing and quick recovery, so you can get back to your stitching. I actually just saw, she loves the Grinch, and I actually just saw some this really cute free ornament pattern from Brooks Books that made me think of Sue, and I thought, oh, I like that with that ornament. Like, it was really sweet. It had a front and a back. I don't know if any of you saw it, but if you like the Grinch, go check out Brooks Books. I think she has a freebie section on her website, and it should be under there. I wanted to say hi to Stephanie at Sew Glover Creations. Stephanie, when I have searched for you on YouTube, your stuff doesn't come up for me. I don't know. I can talk to you about that, but I don't know what's going on with that. Like, none of your videos come up for some reason. I have to go into like comments that you've left me and then directly click on you there to get to your videos. So I'm not sure what's going on. Hopefully, I'm going to try to link her below, see if I can link her channel, and then you guys can use that link to get to her if you can't find her on search. But she's great. She's also in Florida, and she makes all kinds of awesome stuff. I think her channel name is Crafter's Log, after, you know, the Star Trek log, and she does lots of different crafts, which is super fun. I think mostly cross stitch right now, but she has experience with a lot of crafts. She's done some tutorials on finishing and various things. She uses a lot of glow-in-the-dark floss, so that's really cool. She puts that into a lot of her things, and I think you all would really like her too, so please go see her. And then Alara, I found out about, I think, through Mary's Stitching Corner. Hi Mary. Mary's Stitching Corner is fabulous. I just watched her latest video as well recently, and just everything is so beautiful. So Mary clued me into Alara, and I've started watching Alara as well. And she has some great full coverage projects, and she totally enabled me with a, which I meant to show, but I don't have it here, but needle, is it, oh shoot, see, I can't remember because I forgot to like plan this. There is a pattern that she enabled me to just get. Like, I wasn't going to buy anything, and I was like, no, I have to have that. So it's really pretty. It's a winter snowflake kind of thing. So thanks a lot for that. Yay for enabling. So please go check out Alara. Actually, she just mentioned me in her latest video, so thank you. That was really sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. All the love, for everybody, and I think that's it for my video today. I need to like go actually do stuff now. Oh, and this necklace, if anyone noticed, is a Christmas present from my daughter. It was handmade by a friend in one of our homeschool groups that sold some of these, and I have a Ravenclaw necklace that's similar. This is from a Schumann Sonata. If you would like, I would love it if you would hit subscribe and leave me a comment. I'm going to try to do better at replying to comments because they all mean a lot to me. I love it, and I appreciate the time that it takes you to stop and type that out. So thank you all. Hey, if you're still with me, I just want to ramble a little bit about my life updates. If you're still stitching away there, don't put it down and go to the next video if you'd like to hear that I am proud of myself. Not something I normally say. I'm usually very down on myself. But I'm very proud of myself this week because I stepped way out of my comfort zone. I signed up for a community orchestra near me. Briefly, if you're not familiar, I used to play classical music growing up. I went into college playing. I played semi-professionally with some, symphonies that paid for playing with them, and I played in a string quartet that regularly got playing gigs, and I also taught young students, so and helped other teachers like as an aide. But I got burned out in college, just completely dropped it, walked away, and didn't play for many years. And I just picked it up again. It's been 20 years, and I thought, well, you know what? It's okay to like mess around in my room, but it'd be really fun to play with others again. And I found this just recently. I found this local community orchestra, and I decided to sign up. And then it was in the next rehearsal was like way in the future. It seemed like way in the distance. And then I was like, well, yeah, I could, no problem. And then of course when it came to it, I'm like, I was so nervous. It was yesterday. I was so nervous. I was making all these excuses. I downloaded the music as soon as they sent it to us. Like, you have to print it out yourself, and came just before Christmas, and so I downloaded it immediately. I've been practicing it every day for hours, and I was like, oh, I can't get this one passage is like so tricky. I don't have it yet. I'm not ready, and what are they going to think of me? And oh my gosh, I'm not ready for this. Granted, this is an all volunteer orchestra. It's not a paying job. Most of these musicians have day jobs other than this. They're not professional musicians per se, and but the thing is we went to see the holiday pops, and I thought, okay, pops I can do. It can't be that hard. And then when they released the program and the music for this upcoming concert, they're playing like full-on Wagner and the planets from Holst. If you're not familiar, look up Mars from Holst the Planet. It's an amazing piece, but yeah, so it's, there's some challenging things in it. And so it's like a full-on classical concert with they're really just, parts of pieces, in kind of more like a poppy kind of community thing. I didn't say that right, but hopefully you know what I mean. It's not poppy, it's full-on classical, but we're not performing like Beethoven's Ninth from, all the movements, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're performing snippets from classical pieces, but they're doing the actual thing. It's not like a dumbed down version. So anyway, I told you I was going to ramble. I just was so nervous, and I kept thinking, like, maybe I'll get sick, maybe my car won't start, maybe I'll just make that up and won't go. Well, it came, and I went. I pushed myself to go, and everybody was super nice, super cool. The conductor came over to me beforehand. I don't know if when I came in I seemed really harried and nervous. I didn't feel like I was projecting that, but I must have been, because he came over when I was unpacking. He's like, just relax, it's all fine. Everybody here is really nice. Nobody's here to judge you. Although they had told me this was part of my audition. You do have to audition. And I had to send in a video recording of me playing 2 different things, and then this was supposed to be like the deciding thing. And then they decided they were going to sit me first stand, which, if you're not familiar, but in a string section of an orchestra, they have, each section goes back from the center, and so the first stand is up front, right under the nose of the conductor. And typically in a symphony, those seats, first chair and second chair at that stand, are something that are auditioned for, and may the best one win, gets first and then second chair. And even if it's not a competitive spirit, which is great that it's not, But even if it is, that's a little intimidating. And typically if you're sitting at that stand, you know, one, you're considered like really good, but two, it's intimidating because you're right in front of the director. Always before, I would sit at the last stand with my friend and we would like hide in the back, and even if we could play it, we just didn't feel under the spotlight, right? And you know, as teens, we would sit back there and giggle a lot more than we probably should have been in hindsight. But yeah, so I was like, that was like even worse, because I thought I could go in and they just put me at the back at a stand by myself and, you know, just let her sit back there. But no, they put me at the first stand. So that was like even worse. I'm like, this is horrible, like, you know. But once we started playing, like literally from the first measure, I was okay. And it all came back to me. It was like riding a bike, and all these things that I thought I would forget and that I would, you know, have to relearn. I mean, I still need to keep practicing. I mean, who doesn't? But it was like I was right back like before. And the markings and the, you know, the rehearsal and everything and the way that it ran, it was like, it felt so good to be back in that world again. And I think that group is the perfect group for me right now, because on the one hand, while I was saying that I was intimidated that I wouldn't be good enough, on the other hand, there was a part of me that was worried that I wouldn't want to be part of a group that the people just kind of played, like they could play Twinkle, and then, you know, they didn't really play. And then, you know, no offense, but like, I have been part of groups in recent years that I was with a small chamber ensemble for a couple of months, I guess it was. And I literally like backed out of all the performances. They were booking gigs to get paid for, to play at places like restaurants, and then they got one to play at a wedding, and I was like, no, I'm not going and getting paid for this, because I kid you not, we were so out of sync and so out of tune. I mean, it sounded like we just picked up our instruments the day before. And I'm sorry if, like, you know, but don't pay people. Don't accept money. If you want to go play for the joy of it and people want to listen to you for free, that's awesome and that's wonderful. And I highly encourage it, you know, just for the happiness. Because that world, that classical music world, believe me, I know, that's why I dropped out. It is cutthroat, like the high end. But I didn't want to get into an orchestra either where I was just getting frustrated. You know, one of the groups I was in, I played this run that to me was very easy. And they were like, oh no, we're not playing that because it's like, it's eighth notes. And I'm like, okay. And I also played in one ensemble that was, their MO was very much, we just play it and then it's all good. And we don't correct anything, which baffled me to no end. We would play something, we'd be out of tune, out of sync, one person to be reading one thing, one person to be doing something else, and then it's like we get done playing, and instead of saying, hey, let's work through this and figure this out in a kind, collaborative way, it's like, no, nope, don't say anything, we're just here for fun, we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And that to me was hard. So anyway, this group is perfect because they sound good when it comes to performance time. But I definitely did not feel like I couldn't keep up. Let's put it that way. I definitely realized that, you know what, Mary? You gotta believe in yourself, because you might not be as bad as you think you are. And that to me was a really big moment for me, to realize that as much as I put myself down and as much as I tell myself you're no good, specifically at music, but really in everything, I was like, you know what? I do know this stuff. And so I think, you know, I want to just say to all of you, if you're still with me, believe in yourself. don't put yourself down. Don't just look at the tippity top in your field and feel like you'll never measure up to them and you'll never be good enough and you'll never be, you know, that your gifts are not enough, because they are. And that person next to you probably wishes that they were as good as you were and that they could do what you can do. And if only, you know, they had your talent or your gift for whatever it may be, you know, take stock of that and realize your gifts are gifts and that they're important and that they matter. I don't usually try to give pearls of advice and wisdom on my channel because I'm not very good at it, but I just wanted to add that. I've been watching this show with my daughter. She's been showing me on Disney Channel. It's a show kind of like Glee, you know, only Disney-fied. And one thing I've noticed about the writing in that show that I so appreciate is that there's no, the female characters are not only strong and they know who they are, even though they go through periods of doubt. They know, they're confident. And there was a moment where this kid said to this teenage girl, "You're amazing and you can do anything." And her response was, "Yeah, I know, and so can you." And I was like, wow, that's cool, because I grew up being told that if you say "I know," you're conceited, right? And you're supposed to be like, well, no, that's not true, and I can't. And so, wow, to me that's powerful. And you can say, yes, I am, but then you go on. You're not better than the other person, but you know what? We're both good at it. So that's my rambling for today, for whatever it's worth. And I appreciate you for sticking around this long if you did. I will see you all soon in a couple of weeks for my normal updates. Happy stitching.